Today, far too much of the economy is made up of large companies, many of them household names. These large companies are known as corporations. To create an economy that is friendly to the type of society we wish for, we need to dismantle these corporations and in their place promote local business. Corporations are a vital part of liberal economics, to which I would add that I am not a liberal and I have no loyalty to their economic ideas. I would further add that we have our own economic ideas that put the emphasis on local and small business instead of large corporations. But if we want corporations to be dismantled, then how should we do it? First, we must put in place some ground rules. First, the aim is not to destroy, but to create. Secondly, the aim is to dismantle corporations in a rational manner over time. And thirdly, the aim is to support local people and communities through local businesses. There are three ways of breaking up the corporations. The first, franchises. A franchise is whereby a company recruits subcontractors to work for its core business, but on a day-to-day basis to operate on their own as if they were a private business. Franchises get differing levels of support depending upon the company, generally things like training, contracts, and such like. This is a good way to break up the corporations while still using market principles. It gives an opportunity to local people to get an established business from an established brand. It also means that customers aren't inconvenienced, that the new owners have a chance to learn about the business on the job, and for the corporation to ease out of its commitment over time. After a certain period of time, I propose roughly a decade, the franchise arrangement can end and these firms can become independent businesses. Second is multiple locations. The second way is to tax via locations. Most retail corporations, along with many other types of corporations, operate from multiple locations. So we tax the number of locations a corporation operates from, increasing the amount each year. Year 1, 0% tax rate. Year 2, the second and subsequent locations taxed at 10% of all earnings. Year 3, the third and subsequent locations taxed at 20% of all earnings. And we continue until year 11 when the 10th and subsequent locations are taxed at 100% of all earnings. As you can see, it starts off quite reasonable and over the course of a decade becomes progressively more unreasonable. The aim is not to collect the taxes, but to encourage the corporation to dismantle with its own rational plan before the government takes everything. Franchises would not be subject to the multiple location tax. Single locations. Some corporations operate from a single location, sometimes amazingly large locations. In the case of manufacturing companies, it may not be good to dismantle such corporations that operate from a single location. However, nearly all corporations in the service industry could be dismantled. And we would again start with year 1, 0% tax rate. Year 2, minimum of 10% tax from that single location. And we would continue until year 11, when a minimum of 100% tax rate would apply to that single location. A company that has been reduced to one location by either the franchise or the multiple location schemes would not be dismantled further. The aim would be, as with the multiple location tax, not to collect the taxes, but to encourage the corporation to dismantle with its own rational plan before the government takes everything. Conclusion. Corporations lead and encourage people away from their true loyalties, away from tradition, country, and family. They lead people away from the local economy and insist that they must live in a larger economy. Money becomes more important than anything else because making money is the goal of all companies. But for the rootless corporations, it does not go back into supporting a people's traditional customs and ways, nor does it support their country, and it ends by making people value money over family. None of these things are desirable or worth keeping, By dismantling the corporations, we can increase business ownership, we can increase local economies, and we can support our own objectives, all without destroying any of the principles of the free market.